Hi, my name is Emmy. I started working with Align in November of 2017 as the second employee hired after the new CEO. For the past 2 years, I have been working with and learning from our user base. Align helps your team understand why they do what they do and how it matters. We've worked with hundreds of companies and coaches to learn what works in growing your business. The results that we found is that there are certain habits and behavior that are beneficial to accomplishing your goals. Our new set of features help reinforce these behaviors. With every update, we strive to make it easier for our users to make major changes in their companies. During this webinar, we'll go through the ins and outs of using the new features in order to get the most out of Align in your business. First, we'll review why teams and tags are important new features in your implementation of our best business habits. Next, we'll define what teams and tags features really are. And lastly, I'll walk you through how to use teams and tags in your business. Of course, we'll leave time at the end to answer questions. In the Balanced Scorecard by authors David Norton and Robert Kaplan, there's a statistic that 90% of organizations fail to execute their strategies successfully. Norton and Kaplan blame even the top business schools for creating generations of leaders that emphasize strategic planning but neglect implementation of strategy. The 4 rules stated in order to implement strategy were: 1. Engage in constant communication. 2. Reallocate resources. 3. Hold your employees accountable, especially your managers. And 4. Establish effective measures. Using Align efficiently helps you achieve all 4 areas, putting your business in the 10%. So what does using Align efficiently really mean? Here's a great example of how a 90% business runs and how an Align business runs. In a 90% business, even though the leadership might be goal-oriented, their employees are not fully aware of all the goals above them, which leads to a lack of execution. For every employee in your organization, they have a time capacity. That is your mason jar. Once they hit their fill, their jar will overflow. Imagine these rocks as your major goals of the organization. When your employees are focused on their day-to-day, which is the sand, then you load them with goals out of nowhere, their jar overflows and your rocks fall out. You must first fill their jar with all the goals they need to accomplish in the quarter, and then they can add in the sand. This way, everything fits in easily. So why do teams help you fit the rocks in first? We can all agree that simply telling workers what they need to do is not as effective as coming from a culture and an understanding of why they need to do it. And yet, strategy is normally a taboo topic for only the top executives to decide on and to execute on. Team features were designed to help you expand strategy and execution to more of your organization, while still allowing you the opportunity to have complete control over visibility rights to specific goals as deemed necessary. Team features allow you to set the direction you want your employees to go in through trust and transparency and strategy, which then fuels productivity throughout your organization. This will lead to, 1, a reduction in the time it takes the top team to manage the organization, since everyone is able to see their goals and provide updates, rather than just management holding multiple meetings with their teams to get the exact same information. 2, refocus the team on what matters by direction coming from the top down. And 3, realign everyone else onto the same page to drive execution and results with more than just managers on board. Now that we've established why Align's new features emphasize the effectiveness of your execution tactics, let's circle back and review what the new features really are. What is a team? A team is a group of people designated by a huddle. You can use teams to organize different locations, departments, and functions of your organization. What is a tag? A tag is a user-generated label that allows you to organize your goals and meetings around a specific theme. The new features affect the one-page plan, critical numbers, priority tracking, tasks, and huddles. So let's dive in. First off, one-page strategic plan. With our new features, you're now able to create your own one-page strategic plan for every department or team in your organization. This gives you the opportunity to set the direction your company is headed in overall, and then also by team. One use case for Team's one-page strategic plan would be if you have multiple locations. You could potentially set a 1-year, 3 to 5 year, and long-term goals for every single location. Another use case would be to let your entire team see the general information and then create a separate one-page plan for executive eyes only. To do this, simply create a new executive team one-page strategic plan and then checkmark the secure option. Next up, critical numbers. Critical numbers are the decided upon 1 to 5 most important numbers for the company to track on a day-by-day basis for that particular time period. Normally, critical numbers come from your one-page plan, long list of targets, and you are to choose the 5 most critical numbers to keep track of for that quarter. With the new Teams features, you are now able to have sets of 5 different critical numbers for every single team. This will give your entire organization insight into the metrics that matter most to each team. Additionally, you'll have a better pulse over what's going on all over the organization. For companies that have multiple locations or offices, visibility into the different locations' metrics have the ability to add a new sense of ownership and maybe even competition. In addition, as with the example of a secure one-page strategic plan, you also have the option to make your team critical numbers private to that specific team. Priorities. Team features have added a whole new dynamic to the priorities section. Most importantly, the new team tools allow you to better organize and filter your growing team's priorities, focusing each team to what they actually need to see. Additionally, you can now create secure priorities at a team level, which means that you can create a whole different subset of goals for each team, department, or location. The possibilities are endless in how you'll be able to cascade information up and down your organization. To put team level security on a priority, when you're creating a priority, you'll see a new Teams option in the visibility dropdown. Select the teams who should be able to view this priority. Priority utilization is only further enhanced by the addition of our new tags features. We'll come back there in just a moment. Tasks. Tasks were originally created in order to take action on your largest goals through smaller milestones, deadlines, and due dates. Tasks take on similar new features as priorities. You're now able to organize and search for your tasks by team to fully understand what your team is focused on. Additionally, you can now secure a task so that it's only visible to a particular user or team. This will give you the ability to drill down even your most sensitive goals into manageable bite-sized action items for every team. Some use cases include, in a one-on-one, you can record next steps without blasting sensitive information to the entire company. Another use case would be to filter tasks by team during a team meeting to only see what your team is working on all at once. Tags. You'll now see a new component when you're creating your priorities, your tasks, and your huddles. In tags, you can see here that you can add a tag that you've already created or a brand new tag without having to even leave the page. Tags are used to filter for your keyword within priorities or within tasks. You can search for the tag up above, and it will pull up all the priorities or tasks that are tagged with that keyword. For example, here we've tagged the word summit. When you're in your next meeting in regards to the upcoming summit, you'd simply search for summit in the filter priority section, and you would see only priorities related to the upcoming event. To finally circle back to huddles, huddles are how all the new features came about. Any huddle that you've already created can be used as a team, and any team that you'd like to add, you can just simply create either a daily or weekly huddle, and they will be created as a team for your use in a team one-page plan, critical number, priority, or tasks. Huddles are not only the way that you set up your teams, but also essential to the way that your company functions. Your meeting rhythm sets the pace for how fast you accomplish your goals. Within each participant's update section, only priorities within the Huddles tag will appear. That way, instead of each participant's updates being flooded with 100% of their daily activities, the discussion can be clearly focused only on relevant information. Now there are really two different types of huddles. Some are going to be priority oriented, and then others can be people oriented. I've always recommended setting up a number one priority or a theme huddle. Now you can tag all the priorities related to your theme and then discuss only those priorities during the weekly meeting. With a narrowed focus, you'll be able to facilitate daily and weekly huddles that promote efficient and open lines of communication. Whether you're a company of 5 people or a company of 500 people, you can use Teams and Tags features to organize your strategy and execution. We specifically designed these features to work with you as you grow, to keep you organized and focused. Starting a habit earlier is always better. I'm going to end on this slide that has all of my information on it. If you have any questions at all or would like to dig a little bit deeper into how this can work in your company, please feel free to just send me an email at emmy@aligntoday.com. As always, if you have any questions at all, you can email in straight to info@aligntoday.com and your Align advisor will get back to you as soon as possible. Before we start answering some questions, I also just want to note our accountability course. This is for those of you that might be a little bit more interested in some of the different habits that I mentioned throughout the webinar. If you really are interested in mastering some of the habits that our platform was built upon, check out the accountability course and please feel free to send in any questions that you have about it. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I'll open us up to some questions.